Yo, hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector. In today's video, I'm going to do something that I don't think I've actually done before, and that's go through an entire history of a brand of cards. And I'm going to do the Kellogg's cards. And you might say, well, Mike, why are you doing the Kellogg's cards? There's so many other things out there, Topps, Donruss, Fleer, Bowman, blah, blah, blah. Well, the truth is, it's because I really love the Kellogg's cards. It just covers an era when, especially towards the end, when I was new into cards and I would buy anything that had a baseball card attached to it, inserted into it, you name it, whether it was a cereal box or buying Kraft macaroni and cheese, and I would look at the back of the Kraft box, and I ate a lot of macaroni and cheese and a lot of cereal because of the Kellogg's cards and stuff like that back in that day, back in that era of the early 80s. But Kellogg's cards go all the way back to 1970. And so what I want to do is take you guys through the history of the cards, talk about each set, show you examples of each one. Because as I've gotten older, having what I would call a well-rounded collection, I kind of like having examples in my collection of different stuff, all the different ways that baseball cards manifested themselves during my lifetime, essentially, and even longer, right? So it should be a fun journey. I'm going to flip it around and just show you examples of each one and talk about each set, give you guys the history of that set, how it was done, how many cards, all the different particulars of each set. Hopefully you find it enjoyable and informational and learn something. So let's just get right into the cards and look at those. Talk to you in a second. All right, here we go. So we're going to go year by year. I am going to probably clip a lot of these together because I want to get all of my material up. I didn't take notes. I'm just looking at some different stuff online to go through each of these sets with you. And I finally completed my run of Kellogg's cards. So let's start with the inaugural edition of Kellogg's cards, and that's 1970. You can see the design here on this beautiful Roberto Clemente. I've had this card forever. This happens to be a card that is in the 300 Great Cards set. So it's one of those that I've owned for a long time. And the 1970 Kellogg set has 75 cards. And you can see this lenticular design that would later be used by like Sportflix. The goal here was to give the card kind of that 3D look. And so these were actually inserted into cereal boxes. And yeah, the back, you can see the back has great statistics. Normal looking baseball card, right? Or not. It's not a card. I guess it is. It's a card. But you got the stats of the player, particulars of the player, etc. And all the licensing information. So there's the Roberto Clemente. The 70 set is just stacked with all these amazing players. There's tons of Hall of Famers in the set. So yeah, there's 1970. Got the baseball design, all that. So there's 70. I'll stack these up over here. Now, I'm going to do a little one-off because I think it's important, but to the history of this, but not a Kellogg's card, but this is 1970 rolled gold pretzels. And this is a baseball great set, so it's an incredibly similar design in terms of the 3D aspect of it. But this was an all-time greats set, 15 cards, okay? And these were inserted into rolled gold pretzel bags, I guess. And this is a shorter supply set than the set you will see in a little bit that was done very similar to this. And the back is career highlights, some career statistical information, and then just some information about each player. So keep this in mind in a minute, and let's go to 71. Okay, so here we go to 1971. This is the most recent set that I have acquired. And I'm going to show all these next to each other at the end of the video as kind of a showcase type thing, but I'm showing to you them individually now just so I can talk through each set. So this was also a 75 card set released in 71, also inserted into boxes of cereal. The design has changed. You got this blue border now. The star, instead of the baseball, now says 3D Superstars. And the back's little head insert of the player, a little profile portrait type thing. And then you've got all the statistics of the player, particulars, etc. So there is 1971. These are surprisingly pricey. And I don't know if they're just becoming more popular or they're rarer. I don't know that, but 71s and the 70s have become pretty pricey. So there is 1971. All right, we've got 1972 here. You can see they, again, slightly changed the design year after year. This is Lou Brock here in a PSA 8. The grade matters a lot on these Kelloggs cards, particularly because of the way that these were printed, the lenticular design, that you had prone to cracking on these cards. And so ideally you want to get a card that doesn't show that cracking, although, you know, it is what it is. This set, 1972, only has 54 cards. So the first 2 years were 75 cards each. This one's 54 cards. And these are a little bit smaller, actually, than the previous year in terms of size. And yeah, these were also put into boxes of Kellogg's cereal. So there is the 72 design. Back looks very similar to 71. You can see down here, this is card number 48 of 54. How cool is that? Lou Brock. Okay. Also in 1972, I need to pull out this card here. They did the all-time baseball greats again. This is essentially a reprint of the 70 rolled gold pretzels cards. This is the Lou Gehrig in a mint 9. And of course, if I'm going to choose an example, I'm going to choose the Gehrig. I actually have this entire set in PSA, all 15 cards. I've owned it I bought it a long time ago. These have gotten more expensive, again, as people discover them, realize how cool they are. But this looks just like, I mean, it is identical to the 70 rolled gold, which is on the right. And so when you turn them over, they're the same, except at the bottom. The only difference is the copyright at the bottom is really the only way you can tell the difference between the two. So you just make sure if you look at these raw, if you see one of these all-time baseball greats, make sure to look at the copyright so you know whether or not you have a rolled gold pretzel or a Kellogg's card. That's the difference there. But yeah, there's the two. I just pulled the same card just to show you that they do look exactly the same. But there's Ruth and Cobb and Matthews. I mean, there's so many great players. Tris Speaker and Rogers Hornsby. That's why I did the set, just because there's so many great names and they're cool looking and just different, right? Here, I'll show you this one because I pulled it. The 72 Kellogg's. This was the Ruth, greatest right fielder. I think Ruth has 2 cards in this set. I think he's greatest ever. They have these little banners of what they were the greatest at. All-time baseball greats, greatest right fielder in this case. But a great Ruth image. Very cool card. So there's the Ruth in the 72. All right, let's move on to a great year, the year I was born, 1973. Okay, 1973. So this set, I've got a couple of examples I'm going to show you, and it's going to be good to show them to you. So here's the Nolan Ryan from 1973. He will be represented in my Kellogg's cards a lot, and one of my goals is to get all the Nolan Ryan ones eventually of the Kellogg's run. 73, also 54 cards. So they kept the, 75, 75, 54, and 72, 54 cards in 73. And you can see they did away with the lenticular design and just did more of a traditional baseball card. And so on the back, again, pretty standard looking card back, particulars of the player, statistics, and additional information about the player, maybe a career highlight or something like that. And so really cool Nolan Ryan Angels card. I also have a Lou Brock, and what's great about showing these two side by side is you can see how distinct the conditions can be. You got a 6 over here and a 9 with the Lou Brock, both of which are, I mean, the 9 way brighter, right? Even on the back, I bet you can tell. No, they look pretty similar on the back, but certainly on the front, you can see how much brighter and beautiful the 73. This is more what they meant to be look like as they were pulled out of the cereal box, which is how these were distributed. So there is the 1973 Pro Superstars. I like the design. It just feels more like a card. And, you know, Kellogg's were known for their lenticular design. So let's see how they solved that problem in 1974. All right, as we move on to 1974, we got a Tom Seaver here. You can see that whether it was through customer feedback or for whatever reason, they went back to the lenticular design in 1974, back to the little smaller cards. The 73s are actually a little bit bigger. So they went back, and this is a near mint 7 on the Tom Seaver. These were also inserted into boxes of cereal, but you could also get a factory set as part of a box top redemption program. So you could send in box tops and get an entire set. And there's the back of the 74. But there you go. Blue border still. Different placements and designs for name and position, etc. But they go back to the 3D Superstars. All right, on to 75. For 1975, we have a Fergie Jenkins here, which this is great. Hall of Famer, Texas Ranger. So yeah, that's going to be a great example in my collection. And the 75 looks very similar to the 74, but you've got 57 cards in this set. They maintain the blue border here from previous years. Very similar looking back. Team logo, which I love that old Rangers logo. And statistics of the player, etc. So nothing unusual about the 75 necessarily, other than it was a 57 card set instead of 54 for whatever reason. And yeah, there's 75. 1976, my example in my collection is Reggie Jackson with the A's. Love this design. It's different, right? So they no more blue border. Now they've got this white border with a blue and red outline, little rectangle there. 3D Superstars still. You've got the player name, position on the front. This is also a 57 card set. The back though stays pretty standard. Picture, name, logo, stats. So nothing crazy, but you've got a new design, and I bet that was attractive to kids. I was 3 at this point, so I wasn't buying cereal yet, but I bet that went, whoa, these are different. So love it. 1977. It's probably fitting with the times, the disco era. They get a little crazy with the design here. They have this multicolor outline around a white border. You've got the 3D image of the player as normal for the 3D Superstars. This was a 57 card set, still inserted into boxes of cereal. And as we look at the back, again, traditional back, picture, name, logo, stats. This would be the last year that Kellogg's includes a photograph of the player on the back of the card. So we'll keep that in mind as we look at further years. But there is the 1977. Dave Winfield was staying alive at that time. What else came out in 77? Star Wars, right? Jaws had already been out. Yeah, cool. There you go, 1977 Kellogg's. 1978, Steve Carlton. Now we're talking. Now we're getting bold and bright, right, with the design. Although 77 was pretty bold and bright. But for the first time, you see the Kellogg's logo included in the card. You got the 3D superstars, player name, player position. But they're incorporating a lot more colors here, and it's just a brighter card. This is a 57 card set that you could get in cereal boxes, but you could also order the set via mail order. You can get the whole set. The back, as I mentioned before, no photograph of the player, but you do have Tony the Tiger on there, so that he makes an entrance here, which is great. Stats, etc. What's cool about 78, I think that there's an Eddie Murray in this set too, which would be his rookie card, or a rookie year card. And yeah, there's 78. Love it. All right, 1979. Another Steve Carlton. You're not seeing double, different one. But you can see I should have probably done this, but there's 78 on the right, and then we get to 79. Again, you still have the Kellogg's logo, 3D superstars, player name and position. They've added a couple stars to the design in 79. And yeah, this is a 4, right? So again, you can tell that's only a 5, but just the brightness matters, the cracking matters, all of that. 1979 was a 60 card set. So they went from 57 to 60. You still got Tony the Tiger on the back, player team logo. So there is 1979. And I'm showing you an example of each one. If I don't have I'm showing you the Ryan if I have it. If I don't, that means I need it. So we will be working on that run, but there is 79 Kellogg's. New decade, but very familiar design for 1980. This is the Nolan Ryan. They've gone back to that kind of just overall blue border, player name, position, the Kellogg's logo prominently displayed at the top of the card. This was a 60 card set, and yeah, pretty standard stuff, actually. The back, no more Tony the Tiger. Some sun emblem up there, whatever mascot that is. Oh, that's Raisin Bran. So I wonder if on every cereal you could get a variation. I don't know that. Or maybe the Raisin Bran was just instead of Tony the Tiger. I don't know. If somebody knows, let me know. But there's 1980 Kellogg's. All right, way to go, Kellogg's. Here you go, 1981. Now you've got this bold yellow design, the Kellogg's logo, 3D superstars again, player name, player position. But this beautiful bright yellow, the picture of the player seems even more prominent in 1981. But this is a beautiful Nolan Ryan. And this set has 66 cards in it for 1981. Back shows the player stats, etc. Tony the Tiger makes a reappearance after 1 year off for Raisin Bran. So yeah, there is 1981. It's a cool look. All right, after a 1 year hiatus in 1982, they go back again to this prominently, or more, I should say, predominantly blue border. You still have the Kellogg's logo, stars inserted somewhere on the design. And this is the Nolan Ryan in a PSA 8. 82 Kellogg's is a 64 card set. And it's 2 cards smaller, obviously, than 66. And these are the same size as the 75 Topps Minis, which is kind of cool. Now you've just got a Kellogg's logo on the back, the team logo there. These were redeemed through a box top offer. Basically, you could get the whole set. And I know, like, I've gotten several of these before from like Dave Blue Jacket 66, where he had multiples of each set. And I can't remember the years that I have, but I've gotten multiple of them. They basically come in a cardboard box, that's not even right, a envelope type looking, you know, deal that they would send the whole set in, and you would basically have to kind of tear the cards apart. They were attached with little minor perforations along the sides, and you would just kind of just pull them apart, and it was super easy to get them apart. And yeah, getting a full set of those was probably a pretty great day for a kid. There's the 1982. All right, we are at the end. 1983 would be the final year that Kellogg's made baseball cards. This is the 14th year and the final year. 60 card set, and you've got the, again, a little bit different design. The blue is gone, predominantly white design. And yeah, you've got Nolan Ryan pictured here in a mint 9. Kellogg's logo, etc. The back, oh, now up and down. So probably very hard to read. Luckily, these were aimed at kids, so they had very good eyesight and could read all of this. So there's the Nolan Ryan. I also happen to have a Mike Schmidt in the collection. And so that's what the 1983s looked like. Again, 60 card set. Lots of Hall of Famers in this stuff. These are great because of that. I'm going to now do a quick pan and put them all next to each other so you can see how the designs change over the years together. Hang on. All right, so here they all are together. As I kind of just show you multiples, you can just, over time, see the design change. 70, 71, 72. You've got the rolled gold and the Kellogg's here. The one-off 73 that was more a paper stock. Back to lenticular, that blue theme, until 76 when they go white, and then disco in 77, 78 and 79. Back to blue in 80, bigger card in 81, 82, and then finally 83. So again, when you look at them all together, it's just kind of neat to see, try to get a better angle there, how the designs changed over the year. But there's 14 years worth of Kellogg's cards. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below. Talk to you soon. Keep collecting.